Hello friends! An injury can be a real setback and change a lot of things. But that's no longer the case for Alabama. It's going to be terrible for opponents now. Let's get to the news. Subscribe to the channel first. The 2025 season has been an emotional roller coaster so far. With the colossal challenge against Georgia looming on the horizon, Coach Kalen DeBoer brought encouraging news about the status of injured players, offering at least some relief to anxious Crimson Tide fans. The most pressing situation involved LT Overton, a key piece of Alabama's defensive line. During the 38-14 victory over Wisconsin, Overton walked cautiously off the field in the third quarter, raising concerns among fans. However, DeBoer got straight to the point during his press conference on Monday. He's not alarmed by the severity of the injury and expects Overton to be fit to face Georgia on September 27. This statement is a bomb for the team, as Overton has been a dominant force in pressuring opposing quarterbacks. He led the team in pressures last year and recorded his first sack of the season against the Badgers, while also contributing 3 tackles, including 1 for loss. Overton's presence will be crucial in testing Georgia's offensive line, one of the most resilient in the SEC. Another reason for optimism comes from the progress of Jam Miller, the running back who has yet to make his debut in 2025 due to a collarbone injury suffered before the Florida State game. DeBoer stated that Miller is progressing well in his recovery and highlighted his importance to Alabama's offense. He has explosiveness, the coach said, referring to Miller's ability to change the pace of the game with his powerful runs. With the extra time afforded by the bye week, there's hope that Miller could finally return to the lineup against Georgia. His physical strength and versatility could be the difference Alabama needs to overcome the Bulldogs' stout defense. On the defensive side, Tim Keenan III is also showing promising signs in his rehabilitation from an ankle injury that sidelined him for the last 3 games. While it's still unclear whether he'll be fully recovered to face Georgia, DeBoer mentioned that the team will continue to work on Keenan's gradual progression this week. The coach acknowledged that Keenan likely won't be able to play every snap if he returns, but even a limited contribution could be valuable for a defense looking to cement its new identity after a shaky start to the season. Meanwhile, other injured players remain under observation. Wolf linebacker Jamarian Latham has been out of uniform for the last 2 games, and his absence has been felt in the defensive rotation. However, Kwarusa and Ihanzi Pierre have seized the opportunity to shine, combining to record a sack against Wisconsin. Meanwhile, tight end Danny Lewis Jr., who has suffered a mysterious injury, still has no return date, and defensive lineman Jeremiah Beeman is expected to be out for the rest of the season after suffering a serious knee injury. Despite these uncertainties, Alabama has shown clear signs of improvement. The return of wide receiver Ryan Williams, who overcame a concussion, was a good example of this. His presence on offense added an extra dimension to the Crimson Tide's passing game against the Badgers, helping the team build a comfortable lead. Now, with a week off to fine-tune details and care for its injured players, Alabama enters a critical phase of the season. The matchup against Georgia will be a decisive test for the Crimson Tide. Ranked number 5 in the nation, the Bulldogs are known for their tactical discipline and physical strength, traits that have put Alabama's defense in the spotlight once again. For Kalen DeBoer, this is the ideal time to solidify the narrative of resilience the team has been building since that painful loss in Tallahassee. With Overton potentially back and Miller ready to debut, Alabama can enter Sanford Stadium with renewed confidence. It's important to remember that college football isn't just about individual talent, but also about how the pieces fit together as a whole. And right now, Alabama seems to be finding its groove. The positive injury news is a reminder that Bama is Bama. The painful 31-17 loss to Florida State in the 2025 season opener was a necessary reminder. Even one of the sport's greatest powerhouses isn't immune to failure. And now, with a week off before the matchup against Georgia, the team is using this strategic pause to reflect on that night in Tallahassee and reinforce the message that we're not untouchable. Since that initial loss, Alabama has shown impressive improvement. The dominant 38-14 victory against Wisconsin was just another example of this. Quarterback Ty Simpson, who has emerged as a leader on the field, called captains Deontay Lawson and Tim Keenan III after the game to recap the journey since the loss against Florida State. It's a way to ensure the team doesn't get complacent or fall into the trap of underestimating the importance of fundamentals and continuous preparation. Simpson made it clear that, during this bye week, the intensity needs to be higher than ever. "Don't slow down," was Kalen DeBoer's emphatic message to his players. He knows the bye week can be a time of relaxation for some teams, but for Alabama, it represents an opportunity to solidify its new identity. Remember the game against Florida State, that's what DeBoer meant. Not because of the negative impact of the loss, but because of the lesson learned: success doesn't happen by accident. It requires hard work, consistency, and purpose. This is the spirit the coach wants to see maintained as the team prepares to face Georgia. For players like Quarusa, the focus is on consistency. He knows the key to winning in the SEC is maintaining the same level of energy and execution, regardless of the opponent. Bray Hubbard, another leader within the team, uses the mantra of accumulation days. Every practice session, every rep, every tactical adjustment is an essential building block to something bigger. This philosophy resonates deeply with Deontay Lawson, who emphasizes the need to attack each day with maximum intensity. "Forget winning. Keep that edge," Lawson said. "It's us against the world, and that's how we feel." This aggressive and resilient approach has been Alabama's driving force in recent weeks. After the loss to Florida State, many questioned the team's ability to bounce back, especially since the defense was exposed and the offense couldn't find a rhythm. However, the answer came quickly and decisively: 2 consecutive victories with a combined score of 111-14. The offense led by Ty Simpson has been efficient, and the defense, heavily criticized after Tallahassee, forced key turnovers and applied constant pressure on opposing quarterbacks. But the true difference for this team isn't just the numbers or statistics. It's the collective mindset of learning from mistakes and turning them into opportunities for growth. The loss to Florida State was, as Lawson put it, a wake-up call. It served to remind the team that Alabama, despite all its prestige and history, is not above stumbling. They need to work hard every day to maintain the high standard the program represents. This urgency is exactly what Kalen DeBoer wants to cultivate during the bye week. He knows Georgia will be a relentless opponent, capable of exploiting any weakness Alabama presents. Therefore, the contagious energy that emerged after Tallahassee's wake-up call must continue to drive the team. DeBoer has emphasized the importance of leadership, both from veterans and younger players. Alabama is at a crucial point in the season. With 2 consecutive wins and a week of bye before the Georgia matchup, the team has a chance to fine-tune details and strengthen its mindset. Now, as they prepare to face Georgia, the players are aware that the bye week is not a time to relax. It's a time to look back, acknowledge where they fell short, and ensure those mistakes are not repeated. As Lawson said, "We're not untouchable." This humility, combined with the ambition to prove itself again, is what can take Alabama further. Ryan Williams talking about himself again. He once again demonstrated why he's considered one of the biggest offensive prospects in college football, and the timing couldn't be better for Alabama. Against Wisconsin, the wide receiver turned the field into a playground, reminding Tuscaloosa fans of the rare talent he's possessed since the first day he donned a Crimson Tide jersey. After a period of ups and downs, Williams rediscovered his best self just on the eve of the season's biggest challenge, a trip to Athens to face Georgia. His brilliance against the Badgers was undeniable. Williams racked up 165 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, and even made moves that left the Wisconsin secondary at a loss. In the most memorable play, a bold design by offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb ended with Ty Simpson finding Williams wide open on the sideline, protected by well-executed blocks. The 75-yard dash was more than a touchdown, it was proof that the Crimson Tide once again has its most disruptive asset in shape. On the second score, Williams displayed class, breaking the defense with a sharp cut that left the defender stunned. These were impactful plays that not only ignited the offense but also rekindled the confidence surrounding his name. The detail that makes this performance even more symbolic is the memory of what happened a year ago. On that occasion, as a freshman, Williams punished the Georgia defense with 177 yards and a touchdown, paving the way for the most significant victory of the Kalen DeBoer era thus far. The problem is that, since that game, he has never reached the 100-yard mark in a game. The drought lasted months, spanning the entire final stretch of 2024 and continuing until this Saturday. The explosion against Wisconsin, therefore, isn't just about statistics, it's a relief for the player himself, the coaching staff, and the fans, who knew his talent couldn't remain contained for so long. Now, with the matchup against Georgia on the horizon, the narrative takes on even more weight. Alabama will need Williams' brilliance to open up the passing game and challenge one of the most consistent defenses in the country. The Tide's ground game hasn't yet clicked, and facing the Bulldogs' defensive line without a real aerial threat would be practically sporting suicide. Williams is the outlet, the player capable of transforming an ordinary play into a decisive breakthrough, and the expectation is that he will repeat his 2024 impact. In Athens, the mood will certainly be one of alarm, because an inspired Ryan Williams spells serious trouble for any secondary. His own words after the victory, "It's super exciting to be on a roll going into this game," sound like a simple but meaningful warning. He knows the magnitude of the responsibility, and he also knows he's capable of carrying the offense on his shoulders. Alabama enters its bye week on a high note, with the memory of its loss to Florida State still fueling it in an offense that's once again reshaping itself around its most special talent. Williams chose the ideal moment to show he can still be decisive. And Alabama wants to win big, too. Let's move on. Comment.